Once upon a time, there lived a kind candy fairy. She had wings that shimmered like sugar crystals. The candy fairy loved to fly around and share her delicious treats. She carried a big bag of colourful candies. There were lollipops, gummies, and chocolates. The candy fairy loved to give these sweet treats to kind children. The candy fairy knew that every good deed deserved a sweet reward. She wanted to spread happiness everywhere she went. She knew just the place to visit next. It was a little village called Rose. The village of Rose was a small and happy place. There were colourful houses with blooming flower gardens. Children laughed and played in the streets. In one of these houses lived two siblings, Tit and Xeon. Tit was the older brother. He was brave and always looked out for his little sister. Xeon was a sweet and gentle girl. She loved to share her toys and help her mother around the house. One day, Tit and Xeon were playing in the garden. Their mother had given them each a piece of freshly baked bread. The bread smelled delicious, and the children were excited to eat it. Just then, they saw an old woman walking towards their house. The old woman looked tired and hungry. She was wearing a tattered cloak and leaning on a wooden cane. Tit and Xeon had never seen her before. She approached them slowly and asked in a weak voice, "Excuse me, little ones. Could you spare some food for an old woman? I haven't eaten anything all day." Tit and Xeon looked at each other. They felt sorry for the old woman. They knew what it was like to be hungry. They also knew that it was important to help those in need, but they only had their pieces of bread. What should they do? Section 4. Sharing is caring. Tit and Xeon's generosity. Without hesitation, Tit and Xeon decided to share their bread with the old woman. "Of course we can share our bread with you," said Tit. He broke his bread in half and gave a piece to the old woman. Xeon followed her brother's lead and offered the other half of her bread. "Thank you, kind children," said the old woman with a grateful smile. "You have shown great kindness today." Tit and Xeon felt good about their decision. They knew that it was always better to share than to be selfish. They watched as the old woman ate the bread slowly and thankfully. When she was finished, she thanked them once again and went on her way. Section 5. Mother's Love. A lesson in kindness. Tit and Xeon went inside their house, feeling a mix of emotions. They eagerly told their mother about the old woman they had met and how they had shared their bread with her. Their mother was very proud of them, her eyes shining with pride. "That was a very kind thing you did, my dears," she said, hugging them both tightly. "It's always important to help those in need, even if it means giving up something ourselves," she added with a gentle smile. Tit and Xeon felt a warm glow in their hearts, a sense of fulfillment. They knew that their mother was right, and her words resonated deeply with them. Even though they were a little bit hungry, they felt happy and content that they had helped the old woman. Their mother reassured them, "Don't worry, my loves," with a comforting tone. "We have enough food at home to share and still be satisfied. And even if we didn't, kindness is always worth more than a piece of bread. Remember, the act of giving enriches our souls." Section 6. The Magical Gift. A basket full of sweets. Later that day, something truly magical happened. Something that Tit and Xeon would remember forever. Tit and Xeon were playing joyfully in their room when they suddenly heard a mysterious knock on the door. They dashed to open it, their hearts pounding with excitement, and were utterly amazed by what they saw. Right there on their doorstep was a beautiful basket filled to the brim with colourful candies. There were lollipops, gummies, chocolates, and all sorts of sweet treats imaginable. It was a dream come true for any child. It was the biggest and most amazing candy basket they had ever seen in their entire lives. Tied to the basket was a small, enchanting note that read, "Thank you for your kindness, Tit and Xeon. Love, the Candy Fairy." The children were overjoyed. They couldn't believe their eyes. The Candy Fairy had actually visited them and left such a wonderful magical gift. They gathered around the basket, their faces beaming with joy, and started to enjoy their sweet rewards, savouring each delightful treat. Section 7. Spreading Kindness, the Sweetest Reward. Tit and Xeon learned a valuable lesson that day. They realised that the true essence of happiness lies in the joy of giving and sharing with others. They learned that kindness is its own reward. The smiles and gratitude they received were more precious than any material possession. Even though they had given away their bread, they had received something much more valuable in return: the joy of helping others and the magical surprise from the Candy Fairy. The Candy Fairy's gift was a testament to the power of selflessness. From that day forward, Tit and Xeon continued to be kind and helpful to everyone they met. They made it their mission to spread kindness wherever they went. They knew that even the smallest act of kindness could make a big difference in the world. A simple smile or a helping hand could brighten someone's day. And they always remembered the words of their mother: "Kindness is always worth more than a piece of bread." Her wisdom guided them in every action they took. And so the village of Rose became a little bit sweeter, all thanks to the kind hearts of Tit, Xeon, and the magical Candy Fairy. Their acts of kindness created a ripple effect, making the entire village a happier place to live.